my name is Pereira. I'm one of the story scouters here at the Global Festival of Action. With me I have Bradnee Chambers, Executive Secretary of the Convention on Migratory Species, as also known as Bonn Convention. So today it's the World Water Day, and I would love you to start with that. Like, what's the link between migratory species and water?
Sure. Well, it's a symbiotic relationship. Human beings need water, of course, and they're also important.
Can you just put it closer?
So it's a symbiotic relationship. I mean, human beings, of course, need water. It's very important for the survival, and it's also very important for wildlife. To give you an example, wetlands play a crucial role in regulating floods, sequestering carbon, issues like that are very important, filtering water. But also our species rely on wetlands for stopovers when they're migrating, right. For food, for habitat. So there's this very strong relationship. I mean, water is life for humans, but it's also life for animals.
Right. On that, like, which are the migratory species most affected by it?
Well, species that actually have a relationship between the rivers and the lakes and the oceans because they're migrating from over long distances. For example, eels, salmon, sturgeon. They go into our rivers and they rely on the rivers for spawning and for food. Those rivers they have barriers like dams, or if they're polluted from agriculture runoff or from plastics,
right.
it restricts their migrations. And this has all sorts of effects. For example, salmon, which is actually not on the convention's appendices, but it's actually a food source for many of our species like orca whales and other oceanic species. So, this is causing lots of problems. In the Mekong River, we've had a species, the Yangtze river dolphin, that's basically gone extinct because it hasn't been able to migrate in the river, or the river's become so polluted. Plastics has become a huge problem. The rivers are kind of a conveyor belt for the plastics getting into the oceans. 95% of the plastics that are getting into the oceans are coming through rivers. So this is causing, it's affecting our manatees, it's affecting our dugongs, our river otters. Many species are being affected.
We are always seeing that on our feeds and all the species getting affected by these. But why should we care? Like, why is it affecting us as well as, Of course, me personally, I don't spare things, but there's a lot of people that think, why is one thing more important than the other, or why should we care?
Of course it's important. These species are not just beautiful creatures that we have to ensure that we can pass on to future generations, but they also have economic value.
Right.
Ecotourism is $1 billion industry. People come to see these species in parks. They go whale watching. They do shark diving. These species, like birds and bats, they're important for controlling diseases like malaria and Zika. They play a huge role in pollination for agriculture. About 20% of the vertebrates are major pollinators for one of the globe's largest industry, which is agriculture. They're national symbols that we all identify with. We see them on flags. They're part of our culture. We identify with these animals, so they are important. So we need to be able to ensure that we have these species for the generations to come.
Yeah. Could you name 2 or 3 solutions, and what can we do, as it is important for us? What can we do, like on Monday, to be part of the solution?
Well, the convention is doing a lot itself.
Right.
First of all, it's working with governments to ensure that we can put in win-win solutions. Like if you're going to build a dam, you know, you can build bypasses or fish ladders so eels and salmon can get around the dam. We're working with governments to try to reduce the plastics in rivers and oceans, and we've passed a number of resolutions that are calling for the plastics to be reduced at the sources. But, you know, luckily, you know, we as individuals can do something every day in our choices by reducing plastics. By, you know, when you're going out shopping, take a bag that you've used before, or a recyclable bag. You know, don't buy bottled water. There's things that we can do here and now and every day to reduce plastics.
And it's not that hard, right?
And it's not that hard. It's our individual choices.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.